before I say anything, I just want to say, whoever's helping her, whoever's coaching her, whoever's the puppet master running the strings, you did a fucking amazing job.
She did a great job.
They did an amazing job from the moment Biden drops out, forcing Biden to drop out.
I want to circle back to the wake of the debate, given all the crazy stuff that's going on recently. It's easy to move on from such a big event, but we're still experiencing the aftermath of Trump's disastrous performance and VP Harris' strong performance. And we'll look at the polling. And here we'll look at someone that you want to expect saying, wow, VP Harris is running a really good campaign, and Trump needs to figure out something quick if he's going to win. Obviously, I hope Trump doesn't. The person featured here, being Joe Rogan, does seem to prefer Trump for some reason, and in recent years, Rogan has really swung to the right. And so this being his analysis is that much more interesting, him being on the right now and pushing a lot of wacky MAGA stuff. Even he is able to see, and Tom Sura, I don't know his political views, but he's in this interview with Joe Rogan. They're recognizing VP Harris is absolutely crushing it now in Rogan fashion. You'll hear him use terms like whoever's the puppet master of Vice President Harris or whoever's controlling her. All right? We're just going to have to look past that. But Trump is going to be very triggered by this point. I saw someone saying, as Trump said with Taylor Swift, I hate Taylor Swift, with the Joe Rogan, or I hate Joe Rogan. True Social Post is incoming.
Before I say anything, I just want to say, whoever's helping her, whoever's coaching her, whoever's the puppet master running the strings, you did a fucking amazing job.
She did a great job.
They did an amazing job from the moment Biden drops out, forcing Biden to drop out. Right, whatever they're doing, whoever's writing those speeches, getting her to deliver them, coaching her, she's nailing it. She nailed that one speech. She's like, "Say it to my face."
Oh yeah,
everybody's cheering.
Yeah, she nailed it, dude.
And then last night, to me, when I was like, "Oh my god, this is jujitsu," where she's like, "If you go to his rallies, his crowds are boring. They're tired. They all leave her. My crowds are the best crowds. I have the number one crowd." He couldn't help himself.
And she got him. She baited him on that. She walked him right into it.
100%. 100%. See, the difference in that debate was not a difference in like who's going to have better policies, who's going to be better for the country. The difference in the debate, in my opinion, was who was better prepared. She was way better prepared. And even when it came to answering tough questions, instead of answering, she would just say things that she believes.
Yes, sure.
And they sounded real good.
Yeah, that's
the soundbite.
That's called being a savvy politician.
It's also called being someone who's working with a team versus someone who's like, they said Trump, that deal was the best deal. They've never seen a deal like this before. They said, how did you put that deal together?
People thought that was just brilliant. Yeah, I know. He was like,
he's not working with a team that's like, I mean, I know he's doing like mock debates. I know he did one with, I think he did one with Tulsi Gabbard, but someone needs to like tell him, like, you've got these tiny little windows and you should have all the words ready for those windows.
He started
there should
out
be no repeating things.
No repeating things? Yeah, he started out. Tell no repeating things. That's an impossible request to Trump. If everyone who watches the show who's not subscribed just today, just the viewers today who aren't subscribed, who we're going to watch, click the subscribe button. Thank you so much. You know, the concept of 6 degrees of separation, anyone you're 6D away from, knowing them. 6 personal connections away, if I'm correctly describing that. And it's a similar thing with talking points with Trump. Whatever comes at him, he'll take it like we saw with him being asked about crypto, and he'll find whatever he perceives to be the closest connections to other topics, other things that he has his worked out talking points on. And as he seems to be mentally declining, the number of things he's able to go back to is diminishing. So he used to be able to go, all right, this was the question, and I have some talk points over here I can jump myself over to. And this was the question. Now I have some others over there I can jump to in my mind now. There's like 5 big points that he has in his head, and they're coming from jails. They're coming from in-on asylums is one that he just reverts back to it over and over. And there are a few others he started telling that Abdul story again when it did. Didn't make sense at all. And so Rogan's saying, don't repeat things, make clear, concise points. It's impossible. It's impossible with Trump. Now, remind you that when Joe Rogan came out and said that he liked Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for some reason, Trump posted this. It will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring, MAGA 2024. But then Trump, in typical toxic Trump fashion on the Lex Fredman podcast, went, "No, I don't have any tension with Joe Rogan."
Let me ask you about my good friend Joe Rogan. So you had a bit of tension with him. So when he said nice things about RFK Jr., I think you've said some not so nice things about Joe, and I think that was a bit unfair. And as a fan of Joe, I would love to see you do his podcast because he is legit the greatest conversationalist in the world. So what's the story behind the tension?
I don't think there was any tension, and I've always liked him, but I don't know him. I mean, I only see him when I walk into the arena with Dana, and I shake his hand. I see him there, and I think he's good at what he does, but I don't know about doing his podcast. I mean, I guess I'd do it, but I haven't been asked, and I'm not asking them, I'm not asking.
All right, so you had that. I do think Trump is going to be very triggered by this anytime anyone criticizes Trump, even. Not on the substance, but the style or the strategy, he still freaks out. Rogan is actually giving advice that's advantageous to Trump, which is, hey, how about you get some people to surround you, to give you advice, to construct for you an approach to a debate or public appearances where you can model yourself more after the successful campaign that VP Harris is running. That while I disagree with a lot of the terms Rogan used to describe it taking away a ton of the agency from VP Harris, there is clearly a lot of people involved in a really well-run campaign. The aesthetics of it, the massive venues. They're logistically figuring out the slogans, one after another, that are coming out, that the crowds will be chanting VP Harris speeches, her delivery, the debate preparations. All of this takes a lot of people to put together, and they're doing a really effective job of it. And so Rogan's saying, hey, in the interest of Trump, he should probably figure out how to have that a little bit more than just him walking around saying, I did the best everything. Everything's perfect, and my crowds are bigger CA. And it's actually a correct bit of advice now. I think we need to bring the conversation back to the debate more often because of a point that Sarah Longwell made last night.
I don't know very many people that would type out the sentence in all caps, I hate Taylor Swift, but Donald Trump did that. Tell me the political impact, if any, of being against every Democrat, all of the media, and Taylor Swift.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump's got a real woman problem, as we were just discussing, and I'm not sure going after America's most beloved famous woman is going to help ameliorate that problem for him. But I do think what Donald Trump is doing here, like he does in his lizard brain, believe that what he's doing is, he doesn't like the conversation that we were having last week. We were having a conversation about how another famous woman, Kamala Harris, the vice president, absolutely smoked him at the debate. And that was an uncomfortable conversation for Donald Trump. And so one of the reasons that they began really leaning into this conspiracy in Springfield that is absolutely baseless and untrue and is obviously causing real world damage to that community is because for them, that's changing the conversation to something that is closer to immigration. And even though it is, I think, a net, not particularly good way of doing that, right? It's not a good or productive way to have the immigration conversation. For them, it is any port in a storm And the Taylor Swift, him going after her that way, I think is the same thing. It's can we get people talking about?
That is a really fascinating point I did not consider, which is while we can't pretend like Trump thinks in the same way we do about these things in terms of strategy. Otherwise, he wouldn't do the crazy things he's done that have been politically damaging to him. He would have prepared differently for the debate, okay? So it's not the same strategy, the same critical thinking, but in his brain, he's thinking, I need to lash out. And maybe a lot of this is subconscious to get the conversation at least onto something different. And him saying, I hate Taylor Swift, him lying over and over about Springfield, it is doing that. I think a lot would argue not in a way that's politically advantageous, but at least in a way that doesn't hit Trump as close to home and he doesn't feel as hurt by, right? He's emotionally hurt by people saying, wow, after you calling her completely unfunctional and not smart and a loser, VP Harris just smoked you. As Sarah Longwell said in that debate, outsmarted you in every single way that hurts Trump emotionally. More than a discussion about why did Trump send out the I hate Taylor Swift thing. Will this cause problems with Swifties? Will Taylor Swift have backlash from MAG that will hurt a career? No. But some people are speculating about that. And that's a conversation that hurts him emotionally less than the debate won. So let's keep returning to it. Because the debate wasn't just a debate. It was a chance for us to see and learn a lot about the two candidates, how they interact with one another, how Trump deals with someone oppositionally, because you got to do that on the world stage. And he crumbled when he actually had a competitor that could effectively deliver a debate performance. Obviously, Biden wasn't able to do that in this 2024 debate. He completely spun out of control. Here's a Lincoln Project ad on this.
You lost, Donald. Bigly.
Frankly, he lost the debate.
The worst debate performance in history. Even Fox can't defend you.
Oh my God.
Lindsey Graham called it a disaster. Your team? Depressed. Freaked out. Kamala owned you.
Donald Trump was fired.
Told the truth about your little crowds. Called out your stupid lies.
They're eating the pets.
You kept taking the bait, and she kept winning. People are saying you should get out, give up. She's better than you. You keep bragging about how smart you are.
Concepts of a plan.
But that debate was a test, a cognitive test, and you failed.
That Trump was able to be manipulated, that effectively the plan was out there. Everyone knew she was going to try to get under his skin, and he let her. It shows you. You want someone that impulsive with the nuclear gold? No. Now, we are seeing in the polls a VP Harris bump post debate. We talked about how, as you can see here, the real Clear Politics polling average. This is national to get the point. Illustrated later on, we'll talk about the battleground stage. But you saw VP Harris growing her lead once she got in, and then it did start to tighten before the debate got all the way down to a 1 percentage point lead for VP Harris. And then, since the debate, that's widened back to a 2 percentage point lead in the national average of polls according to Real Clear Politics, which that's what you're hoping a debate will do. Of course, and you even had this was crazy, my touch reporting VP Harris surges in key Iowa poll. This is pretty bonkers according to a new poll released by the Des Moines Register. VP Harris has closed the gap against Donald Trump in Iowa, narrowing Trump's lead to just 4 points. The same poll, which had alarm bells going off within the Democratic Party just a couple months ago, had President Biden down nearly 18 points against Trump. So the same pollster, same poll being run. And when Biden was in the race, that gap had gotten all the way to 18 percentage points, which VP Harris is probably not going to win. Iowa. Okay, that's not the goal. The point is, even in a state that Trump's going to win the lead, has narrowed quite a significant amount. Like I said, we'll talk either on the bonus show or in a future segment soon. The key battleground states and how polling is looking there. Let me know what you thought in the comments.